Let's move on to Christmas Day action. And let's start, and I hate doing this, but by Dan Kelly saying I cried myself to sleep last night. All my futures on the Browns went down the drain last night, and I don't think anybody's as angry as Baker Mayfield. But it was, just awful watching the Browns be put in that situation and fight so hard and still lose on a last-second Carlson field goal. And now here we are, 4:30 p.m. Cleveland Browns 7-7. If they had have won, they'd be in first place in their division. They lost, and they're in last place in their division at the Green Bay Packers, 11-3, 6-0 at home. Although they look more vulnerable than they have in a while, the Packers are still 6-0 at home. We're at Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin, 33 Fahrenheit. Chance of snow showers, 10 miles per hour. Let's start with the market in this spot. This opened up with Green Bay -9. Now that was at plus 110, so it's really an 8.5 or an 8 even. It's now at 7. So there's 7s right across the board. This total opened up at 45.5. It has dropped to 44.5. When we go to the cash flow here, we have 1,109 tickets in. Very few tickets in. Some books aren't letting you bet this game right now, and it's all Packers money. 86% of the tickets, 99% of the cash. Then you have 47% of the tickets on the under and 83% of that cash on the under. Browns come in off their second loss in 3 games, 16-14 at home versus the Raiders. Extremely costly. They were so ravaged with COVID that the league pushed the game back from Saturday to Monday, and it turned out to make no difference. The 21 players on the COVID list, 1 player returned on Monday. No Baker Mayfield, no Coach Stefanski, 12 regulars, including Jarvis Landry and Jadeveon Clowney, out, and an asymptomatic Mayfield unable to produce a negative test in time to play. Nick Mullins, 20 of 30 for 147 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, which was his, biggest flaw as a Niner. He just took risks that were not needed. No interceptions. He tried. The whole team tried. Donovan Peoples-Jones caught 4 passes for 48 yards. Chubb ran 23 times for 91 yards and a touchdown. The defense battled hard, kept them in the game. They got 2 sacks and 3 quarterback hits, and Greedy Williams had an interception. Tack McKinley, torn left Achilles. He's out for the season. It was sad to watch. So let's just start with the Browns, and before we move on to the Packers. And I can refresh this injury report, and it won't matter much for Cleveland here, but this is the latest situation for the Browns. They have everybody out at this point. Baker Mayfield, Case Keenum, Jarvis Landry, Austin Hooper, Jedrick Willis, James Hudson, Malik McDowell, Grant Delpit, Ronnie Harrison Jr., Mac Wilson, Kareem Hunt, Jadeveon Clowney, all out. And nothing's changed at this point. Is this a spot where the Browns, if Mayfield's under center, can come together and rise to the occasion? Or is this a football team that's done for now?
That's an excellent question. And when I first took a look at this game, I've been flip-flopping on what they're going to do. Because Mayfield, historically, let me ask you this, Jimmy. Has Baker Mayfield, historically speaking, been a guy that rises to challenges, shows up when there's adversity? Or has he turned into a complete and total pouting, sucky baby?
I'm not a Baker Mayfield fan, but I think he has, in his career, stepped up and risen to the occasion.
You do. I do. Think the opposite. I think when the chips have been down for Baker and when things don't go right, he's got that Cam Newton thing about him where he's all smiles and jokes and happy when things are going well, and then he turns into a pouty, sucky baby when things are not going well. And I have trouble backing guys like that. And while Baker has played well at times and has showed why he was the number 1 overall pick at times, he's left a lot out there. He's obviously very gifted. But Baker, to me, is a guy who needs everything to be going right for him to play great. And I don't know. Look, all these players, if they all come back, and you got 21 guys back, including your head coach. Wait, was Stefanski out? I'm getting this mixed up now.
Yeah, Stefanski missed last game.
Yeah, okay. So you're getting your coach back and all these players. It's like a late season buy for them. So on that, I want to back the Browns, but it's Baker's the big question mark for me. And I have trouble putting a lot of faith in Baker because to me, he hasn't been great in dire situations.
I get all that, and I get all that. Let's take a look at the Packers right now. Birdie says, I do like the Browns here. This is a non-conference game. Green Bay has Minnesota on deck. This has flat spot written all over it. I'm letting this line climb, and then Browns will be bet. And I agree. If you guys have any interest on the Browns, I think regardless of everybody coming back, it's not going to move in the Browns' favor. I don't think so.
So I want to agree with Birdie here too. I really think it's a Browns or no play on this one.
I think so too. Let's talk about the Packers here. They're coming off their third straight win, 31-30 at the Ravens on Sunday night. They became the first team in the NFL this year to clinch a division title, and they didn't look very good doing it. Aaron Rodgers, 23-31, 268 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He has thrown for 13 touchdowns without a pick in his last 4 games. He's a spectacular quarterback. Marquez Valdes-Scantling caught 5 passes for 98 yards and a touchdown. Devontae Adams caught 6 passes for 44 yards and a touchdown. Aaron Jones ran 13 times for 58 yards. But this defense got picked apart by Tyler Huntley. And I mean no disrespect to Tyler Huntley. I've been extremely impressed with everything he's done this year. The ex-Utah quarterback, the team fights for him, and he plays well, and I think he's got a lot of talent, and I think a team will try to make him their starter next year. Devondre Campbell had 10 tackles in the team's only sack. Kenny Clark remains on the COVID list. Bakhtiari hasn't been seen from, and he's still available, inactive and available. Equanimous Brown, I mean, he's hurt, obviously, but he's not on IR. Equanimous St. Brown, Billy Turner, all inactive last week, listed as questionable this week. Harold Williams says the pack is rolling, and I don't. They do it just enough. They keep doing just enough. I'm not saying they can't win the Super Bowl, but will they do enough here? Talk to me about this Green Bay Packers spot before we move on to the next game.
See, I think this is the same Packers we've seen for the last 4 years. 3 years in a row, 13-3. Now they can't go 13-3, but as good as they've played, and as well as they've played with the injuries that keep mounting, the offense, not their line, but their skill players obviously still being healthy, and Aaron Rodgers being Aaron Rodgers is, say what you will about him as a human. He's an unbelievable football player, maybe the most talented quarterback we've ever seen play, and he plays like that. But I don't want to get ahead of myself and start predicting the playoffs, but Viper posted that they're 5-0 against the spread in their last 5 matchups, but I find them kind of vulnerable here. If Cleveland comes out angry, and I know they're at home, and I know it's Aaron Rodgers, and I know this is all contrary to what one would normally think, contrary to logic even. I just think it's a flat spot for the Niners, especially like you said for the Packers, especially with the Vikings next week. I just think it's a lot of points, and especially if this grows. Especially if you're seeing a higher number by Sunday, then I think it's time to bet the Browns.
I do too. So we have to keep a very close eye on everybody coming back from COVID, and keep a close eye on the line. And I would be more likely to bet the Browns first half than full game at this
So
point.
it's an excellent point from Curtis Berry in the chat too. Browns pass rush versus Packers O-line. I mean, the only thing that neutralizes that is how quickly Aaron Rodgers gets the ball out.
Well, big game. Tasha says, no way I'm taking Cleveland. This is Christmas Day action.